I am going to be very sick.
Ready?
Yes.
So, do you think Africans in the world need to reconnect with Africa in order to prosper?
Absolutely.
Explain.
Those of us who
Sorry, do it over,
Okay.
Take two.
Oh, Lord.
Do you think Africans in the world need to reconnect with Africa in order to prosper?
Absolutely. Africans in the rest of the world must connect, and reconnect with Africans on the continent. We all are family. And anytime the family needs to prosper, then we all prosper at one time. I don't like that because I'm thinking about what I'm saying. So let's start all over again.
That's fine. All right, look this way.
Okay.
Take three. Do you think Africans in the world need to reconnect with Africa in order to prosper?
Yes, absolutely. Africans in the other parts of the world need to connect with Africa in order to prosper. We all are family, and that is what must be recognized in order for any type of reconnection to take place. Family means that there are ties, there is a foundation, there is a historical consideration, there are historical realities that we all must consider because we are one family.
Excuse me, what time did Paul close?
I don't know, maybe 5? 4 or 5? Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
What's the second question?
Question
This
2.
It's not coming out right, but I can't help
This
it.
is good.
Yeah.
You're doing really good. Okay, and I want you to look at me. Okay. What do you think of the fact that many African Americans and other African diaspora refuse to get any connection with the continent of Africa?
Well, first of all, I think that the assumption that Africans in other parts of the world refuse to reconnect, that is completely and totally erroneous. I think the problem is that many of us in other parts of the world, we don't know our history. We have not been able to make the kinds of cultural and economic and political connections that are necessary for us to develop the attitudes and skills that we need in order to recognize our connections to the continent. So it's not a refusal necessarily. It is our inabilities or our lack of knowledge about where we come from and our strong cultural connections.
Question 3. What are your feelings now that you saw Bimbia with your eyes?
When I walked into Bimbia, it was like I was watching a movie. Lisa's historical presentation of why Bimbia existed provided a backdrop for all of us. It was a very somber mood that I felt among those who were the members of our group. To be able to walk into a former place where many of our ancestors, we know many of our ancestors were stolen and taken away from their African families, it gave me a deep sense of regret and a deep sense that I had to do something about sharing this information with other people with whom I will come into contact with now that I'm back here in the U.S. I'm not even going.
All right, question 4. Okay. General comments on the trip and pilgrimage.
Well, I think the trip, the pilgrimage, is representative of what has to happen in order to bring the African diaspora and the Africans on the continent together. Okay?
Yeah. What else?
I think that what we must do, because of that trip, those of us who've taken the trip, we must become Bimbia ambassadors. We have to tell the story. We have to make the connection with the people who have no idea. Just as many who live in the Cameroon, many who live on the African continent have never heard of Bimbia, do not know of the significance of Bimbia to our history. Those of us who've been there, we must become Bimbia's ambassador. What Lisa and Elaine, what they are doing now is very, very important. We have to make those connections, and we have to figure a way. Many of people in the African diaspora would never come to Africa, but we have to determine how, we have to put together some strategies for determining how we're going to make that connection a reality for many people in the African world.
So how do you propose that this be done? Talk to me.
Is that question on there?
Yes. How can this be done?
Well, I said we have to become ambassadors, Bimbia ambassadors. We have to, when we get back to the United States, to other parts of the world, wherever people when people have come to Bimbia and they have left Bimbia, it is incumbent upon us to do a lot more history on slavery, on the slave trade, to look at all of the profound impact that slavery has had on Africans in the diaspora, and to use Bimbia as a way of healing many of the wounds. The best way things that we can do. What Lisa and Elaine are doing, they're bringing certain of us together. Many of us, I said before, will never get to the African continent. But those of us who have been, it is incumbent upon us to get out there, get the word out, have workshops, we can do lectures, we can do show our photographs. There are lots of things, small things that you can do, things that don't cost a lot of money, but it's an urgency that we must take care of as soon as possible.
Excellent. Thank you.